This video provides a brief introduction to the Python package Pulp. Pulp is used to model optimization problems. This content is actually part of a book chapter. The book, entitled Business Analytics with Python: Essential Skills for Business Students, co-authored with Dr. Bowei Chen, will be available in January 2025. You'll find a link in the description of this video. I strongly suggest creating a virtual environment which we activate prior to installing the Python package Pulp. So this here is my folder. I just type in cmd and then I type python -m for virtual environment and the name of it. And that will take a few moments. So now you see we have another folder popping up, our opt folder. So this is our virtual environment. And next I can activate this. So I go into the scripts folder and then I simply state activate. And now you see the name of the environment in brackets in front. Yeah, so that indicates we are now active in this environment. And next we install Pulp. So here I use the pip installer. And again it will take a few moments. Let's start with a minimum working example to get used to Pulp. After the import statement we start a model, which is an instance of the LP problem class. Have to stress that in my case I use the argument sense, which is equal to -1, indicating a maximization problem. Note that the default setting is sense is equal to 1 for a minimization problem. So in my case I want to maximize profits. Now profits are simply prices, which I define here, times quantities, and I want to select quantities. There are two different factories in this problem and they have different costs. So I specify a list with variable costs for the two factories, and they also have capacity constraints. And then we have to satisfy total demand of 1,500. Of course, the solution to this problem is completely obvious. We would start producing in the factory with the lowest variable costs up to the capacity limit, and then we switch to the second factory until we hit demand. Now that's obvious. It's quite nice to start with a problem you already know, just to get used to the syntax and get used to how this Pulp package operates. It's always a good idea to outline the deterministic model parameters as I did here. So I explain them and I start with these parameters at the top of my problem. So later they can easily be modified. Next we define two variables that capture the production in the two factories. These variables are continuous and have a lower bound of 0, which makes sense. Capacity constraints apply, which we captured in our capacity list. So I just have to use indexing to refer to these entries. So here we have it. We specify our LP variable. We import using here as pp, so we have to put pp in front. I call this factory 1 and then it's factory 2. We have a lower bound, we have an upper bound, which then refers to the capacity. I use indexing to get the respective capacity constraint, and then we specify that this is a continuous variable. Next, we define the objective function and we add this to the model using this += sign. Yeah, so model is the instance which we created up here of our LP problem, and we just use += to add the objective function. If you have an inequality, it would be always seen as a constraint, which we do here later. Good, so we have specified our price and then the two variables, so these are the total outputs, and then of course the respective variable costs based on our var list. And then we solve the model. So we refer to our instance, we use here the solve method, which should, fingers crossed, solve the problem. Then I use here a formatted string, so I put the f in front, so I can use the placeholders using the curly brackets to refer to the respective production variable. So this is the first variable, and then I refer to the optimized value using the var value attribute. So that's an attribute, as you can see. So that should do it. Let's give that a try. The script is called first problem. Nice. And as expected, I focus on the cheap production facility first. And when we check our costs, it's the second factory, and I go up to the capacity of 700. So that's the solution, and then I move to factory 1, which is more expensive, and I go up to the level of demand. So of course that's quite a trivial problem, but it helps you to get used to Pulp. If you want to see more content focused on Pulp, just leave a comment below, and as always, like, share and subscribe for more data fun.